Hey, welcome to the sixth episode of the Angry Guppy Podcast. Peace sign wave. What more do you need?
Middle finger.
Or the middle finger. Oh, fuck, buddy.
Oh, fuck, buddy.
Yeah, welcome to the sixth episode of the Angry Guppy Podcast. Tonight we're talking about our Mega Midsouth FKT attempt that we're attempting literally in a week now.
Yep.
It is also election day. We're waiting for results, but hopefully you guys all went out and voted. And
Yeah, thanks for voting, dude.
Yep, thanks. You as well. Yeah, let's get into the episode. Actually, not getting the episode yet. This podcast is sponsored by Bauhaus Brew Labs.
Dude, I think we mentioned it on the last one, but this Tetra Light is insane.
Yeah.
I am a lightweight. I don't drink alcohol at all, and I'm a lightweight when it comes to anything CBD or THC related. But this is 2 milligrams of THC and 10 milligrams of CBG. It's super salty. It's super tasty. It's called Tetra Light. I actually just bought a case of it to bring home because it's just such a perfect thing.
It is a nice treat. Tastes really refreshing and kind of gets your body a little numbed up.
Yeah,
feels great.
Good.
So yeah, thanks Bauhaus.
Thanks, Deej.
Yeah, Nick. So what are we doing next Tuesday, man?
So the Mega Midsouth. I keep calling it the Ultra Mega Midsouth because that's what we called it on Track Leaders.
Is that what we called it?
Yeah. Mega Midsouth. First iteration was September 18th this year. Unfortunately, Josh and I couldn't be part of the Grand Depart, so we wanted to go down and do an attempt of this route. But it is 300 miles, or 300 miles, 300.7 miles, and as according to Ride with GPS, it's like 15,549 or something like that. Almost. I think it's close to 16,000 feet of elevation.
Mm-hmm.
Current record holder has it for 23 hours and 55 minutes, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made the route off of all the routes that they made for
The 100
mile route.
It's just the outskirt of every
Yep.
100 mile race that's ever been done for Mid-South or Land Run.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never done anything that long before.
You've done 240 though, so I think you're.
That was also 3 years ago.
That's fair.
I didn't finish the day across Minnesota this year, so
I mean, we got a lot of momentum behind it. I think you'll be great. I think it'll be.
I'm a bit scared though.
Yeah.
The last few nights I've had some weird dreams about it.
Oh, really? It's
Already.
keeping you up at night?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
no.
I'm getting kind of scared, but
Well, it is. So I know for a fact that you were fast enough and strong enough, like mentally, to get it done without having to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's the nice part, is that's what gets me, is like when I'm like, those 48-hour races where you're like, do I even try to sleep? Do I sleep for like a half hour or when I need to, or just try to get it all done? I think we can both get it all done without sleep. So I don't know. We'll get into some questions from Instagram, but I'm for sure not planning on sleeping. And I know you weren't planning on it either.
I think I'm just like I think that during the day is not gonna be a problem for me. I think I'm just more worried about what the weather will bring at night for me and the colder temps is gonna bring.
Yeah.
Even though it's not gonna be that cold, but we're still gonna be seeing like 50-degree weather,
Yeah.
which it really is not that cold, but for me it is
Fine
cold.
for me. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we're starting at 6 a.m., so
Yeah.
we'll see. I think I saw a forecast of like 55 degrees at the start, which is pretty good.
What was it at the start?
55
55.
at
That's
6
great.
a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I probably start full leg warmers, full arm warmers and stuff, but those will probably be peeled off pretty quickly because it's supposed to get to 70 degrees almost. And I don't know if you saw, the wind has changed. We're not going to have as windy of a day, which is great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I saw it in the forecast, and now my mind is immediately just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I'm just like, I think I'm just more worried about the nighttime. And seeing this is my first ever unsupported, self-supported
yeah.
ride I've ever done, I just like, I'm a bit worried about nighttime and just being out there kind of alone if we're not together, you know?
Yeah. That is one thing that we talked about is riding together. And I think as of right now, we're planning on riding side by side for at least the first 100 miles, if not longer. Just because we, the bike packing and ultra distance racing and stuff is kind of more on self-reliance and riding solo. So,
yeah. So yeah, I put a thing about saying that what would you like us to cover
was that on
this
Angry
episode?
Catfishes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you are listening to this and you're not following Angry Guppy Podcast on Instagram, I made an account last week, and it'd be nice to share everything there instead of using the Angry Catfish account. We'll probably keep on connecting the accounts together, but I just want to make most of our podcast posts on the Angry Catfish or Angry Guppy Podcast Instagram. So yeah, give it a follow if you are listening. But yeah, I posted on the Angry Catfish account what we wanted or what people wanted us to cover in this episode. And what do we got here? We have... So I'll start at the first one. This one comes from Brandon. He said, talk about the one item you each bring that is not something we'd expect.
Ooh. You have something that immediately comes to mind?
No.
That no one would expect?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta just look at my bike for a second for reference.
Yeah, I don't think...
I mean... Yeah, dude, I don't know if there's anything that's out of the ordinary that I carry that's just at least for single day or 2-day races.
Mm-hmm.
That's just that's a hot tip.
How about we get back to that one, Brandon? I gotta think about that
I'll
one a
just
little
think
bit.
about that.
And maybe that'd be something that we can announce in the description of this podcast.
Yeah.
One item, because I don't really know off the top of my head here. So, Kip Hartman says, "What kind of training does it take to go for the FKT?" I'll start with on that one.
Oh, you want to start?
Yeah, you can start with that.
Oh, well, I mean, I think for FKT, it really just depends on what the race is and what it entails. I mean, there's FKT attempts for 100-mile races and FKT attempts for the Tour Divide. So, I think for this one specifically, for me at least this year, it's been just consistency with riding and staying in that zone 2, just long days in the saddle, but not just overdoing it. I've been trying to be consistent with 10 to 15 hours a week all year. And I mean, obviously outside of other ultra races that I've done this year. But yeah, just kind of staying on top of not letting your diet go and staying hydrated and recovering appropriately when your body needs to be recovered. Just stay off your bike or for that extra day, even though it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. For myself, I didn't have any much training into this.
Yeah. we had chatted about this a little bit when we a couple of days ago actually. And I think this is probably my healthiest year for cycling. I've just it's such a routine for me to start my mornings with my my personal life with my kiddo and stuff, where I drop him off and my training rides are literally my commute. So I'll get a 2 or 3 hour ride in the morning, and then, maybe one or two big rides a week. But anyway, yeah, this is my biggest year for cycling ever, and this is probably your lowest.
Yeah,
from
gotta be the lowest I've ever in the last basically I'd say 8 years. It's my lowest mileage year,
and you're still gonna just beat the living hell out of me. I guarantee it.
I mean, I highly doubt it, but yeah, I'm definitely not very consistent this year. I mean, all of last week I didn't ride because of I don't know what I was doing, to be honest. I'm really kind of shocked I didn't ride at all last week. But the week before that, I put in 15-hour week and a half marathon run, which I don't think that's going to really benefit, but I think it will help.
Yeah, it can't hurt.
So I guess that would be my training. I know I had high ambitions to do a lot of hours before this, but didn't happen. I'm going to hope that the last 10 years of riding bikes at very, very longer, or bigger weeks is going to hold me accountable for this attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Brat said stomach issues. I personally,
Brat?
yeah, B-R-O-T, B-R-O-T.
B-R-O-T. I wonder who that is. I don't know. Stomach issues, question mark?
Just, he wants us to cover stomach issues.
Oh, yeah.
I've never really had any major stomach issues.
For like long races, I haven't really either. I think the biggest thing is just like listening to your body, especially like, I think this is a good point about talking about high carb. High carb mix is fantastic, especially for single day races where you can get away with using a majority of your nutrition is coming from that drink mix, whether it's 100 miles or 300 miles. But if you overdo it, it's kind of game over until your body is like, okay, I'm feeling better now. And that could be, a couple hours, or it could be, you could just be done. And I've seen people have to DNF because they just like can't, their stomach just can't process, their body can't process it anymore. But yeah, I don't think I've personally had any like, I'm trying to think if
I've definitely had like bonking issues or blowing up issues because I'm not eating properly or not eating enough.
That's where
But I definitely never had like major stomach issues where I'm like having to get off the bike or vomiting or like, I guess like even having to go poop or something like that. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had anything crazy for stomach issues. I've had like, I definitely felt full from the high carb mix.
Yeah.
Like I get that.
Yeah.
If I do too much in a short period of time.
Yeah. I think probably my biggest area of like stomach issues has probably come from like a mix of high carb, dehydration, and heat. Where like my body just like doesn't want to take any more in.
Yeah. I mean, I think thankfully we're going to be dealing with we're going to be dealing with some really nice temps where we're not going to be having to be worried about getting dehydrated.
Yeah, I am really thankful that I don't deal with that because I know some people that really do like every race, and it's just,
Anthony Hilligoss hit us with mentally preparing for Ultra FKT attempts and how you find your way through the tough moments.
Oof, that's a good question.
Mentally preparing myself.
Yeah,
I'm having bad dreams about it, so.
I mean, you coming into this, like, this is going to be your longest distance you've done in one shot. Like, I want to know what you're doing, like, what your thought process is of, like, okay, mentally getting ready to do this.
I mean, it's been kind of crunch time for me, I feel like, this week, and especially now that we're a week out, and we'll probably be out at this time next week, out still riding, which is, we'll be hour 12.
Wrapping it up a little bit, yeah.
I think I'm taking it more of I'm looking at it as like it's just 3 100-mile rides.
Yeah, for real.
And I don't really have necessarily a game plan for this entire thing, but I just I hope that, I don't know. I'm just preparing myself for, I know that it's going to be a long day, and I'm most likely just probably going to shut my brain off.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I do it. Because I like, for some reason, after I stopped drinking, my thoughts have been just like, I struggle like a lot with just everyday life, like work and raising child and house stuff. And it does like kind of just weigh on me a lot of the time because I'm unmedicated. I don't go to therapy as much as I should. And it's that ultra cycling for me, no matter how bad it really gets. I mean, of course I've DNF'd races, but no matter how bad it gets out there, it's just like shutting it all off. It's like those TikToks where there's like all these people talking, and then you get on your bike or whatever the subject of the TikTok is, and then it's just silence.
Yeah.
It allows you to just like process your life and like real important things. But yeah.
Yeah, and you've done obviously a lot more than I have on that, so you're probably a little bit more well connected on that level.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is like, I mean, that is how I mentally prepare, is just like kind of, all right, what am I going to process for this? Like, what do I actually want to spend time genuinely thinking about? outside of just like numbing and like spacing out. But yeah, I think preparing, I get these like kind of cocky moments of like, oh, it's only 300 miles, but at the end of the day, like it's 300 miles. It's a lot.
It's a long day. Yeah, it's
And
a lot of miles.
Really try to keep myself in check with that shit, especially after coming off of like North Star, which was 630, or like Doom early on. The last 2 years I've done it, it's like, 400 miles, but it's also 42,000 feet of elevation. Like 300 miles is still a big ride. I'm going to need to carry shit. I'm going to need to think about my game plan, and also think about the fact that I could get a mile into my race and a mechanical could happen.
Totally. Yep.
And I genuinely try to think about that every single race, no matter what race it is. That way, when I'm getting ready for it, I know what to expect, and I can kind of just be prepared at any given moment.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I also have been thinking like, all right, what do I need to carry with me that I'm going to be able to survive or be able to continue on if I do have something that happens?
Yeah.
Instead of having to be like, oh, I need to get picked up,
Call it.
And that is, I think that's my biggest fear as well, is not having something because I didn't pack it. Mm-hmm. But I also don't want to pack a bunch of stuff.
I mean, that's the name of the game right there. It's like packing just enough and not packing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. I mean, we didn't answer the second part. I mean, how you find your way through tough moments, but I think it's just one thing that you brought up to me recently, I guess, in the last 2 months. You're like, it's only bad for 10 minutes. Yeah. And then it gets better.
Yeah, it really is. Like you build yourself up to this really dark spot, because it doesn't just click. I've never met a single person where you just oh, now I'm in a dark spot. You gradually just work yourself up to that. Mm-hmm. And knowing that it's only going to last a little bit really helps a lot.
Yeah.
And that is when I'll use carrots of eating high carb and pretty nutritional foods. That's when I'll get something like a Snickers or something sweet and just something real nasty to take my mind off the really gross part of my ride. Or throw music in, and I do save music for specific moments like that sometimes too.
No, I mean, I definitely get a really negative attitude, especially if I'm dealing with a lot of wind.
Dude, fuck a headwind.
If I'm dealing with a headwind, I am in a really bad mental space. I'm cussing at the sky. Yep. It's I get mad. I just get so aggravated. And I know that's for sure gonna happen to me next week a couple of times, if not a dozen times.
Yeah, dude, it is.
And I'm really gonna try not to let that happen. So DJ said your nutrition plans.
Oh yeah.
I think we're kind of on the same path of doing high carb mix, and then after that point, just eating whatever we can.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll likely have everything I need for the race on me from the start.
I won't.
With the exception of the stops that I'll have where I'll refill my high carb with water, or my mixes, and my hydration pack with water. I'll probably drink a soda or something, or depending on how fucked I am, I'll drink a Red Bull, but I guess the caffeine conversation kind of comes into this too, but
yeah, I mean, we're both not drinking caffeine at the moment. This is my first time not doing caffeine ever in the last, I would say, 10 years.
Before a race
in general. Yeah, and I've had headaches I've been off caffeine for, I guess now, I didn't drink much last week, but then I had some on Saturday for the open house, and then I went back off. But I've had major headaches the last 2 days, and then a minimal one today.
Yeah.
So
it never fails. When I go off, I am not one of the. I mean, I did it with smoking. I did it with drinking. I am not the kind of person to just wean off of something, just cold turkey. But yeah, it never fails. The first 3 days are fucked. I'm miserable, and I'm tired. Probably miserable to be around. But yeah, massive headaches too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to next Tuesday and being able to drink caffeine.
Dude, for real. I was thinking about, who was I talking to? I think I was talking to Elena at the shop. Wait till we get back. We're just going to be fucking zooted off of 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah, hopefully that was enough of a nutrition plan. I think, for me, it's just high carb mix, and then kind of finding whatever I find at the gas station
Mhm.
that looks appealing. I'm gonna have food in my top 2 bag, but it's just gonna be like Nerds clusters because that's the
Really?
shit.
Yeah, those are so good, but that's
What?
that's a lot to like just have high carb in that.
Yeah, I mean, the shitty part about being a vegetarian is there's not much stuff I can get at gas stations that like for hot food.
Yeah, for real. Bosco cheese sticks.
Like I would just love if any of those places had a cheese quesadilla or something, or a PB&J.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I'm kind of
I got you.
Shit, that kind of spooks me out now thinking about it because I'm not gonna have that stuff. So this is why like this is a really daunting ride for me because it's self-supported.
Yeah,
And usually all these rides I do that are long are like someone has a PB&J for me or a cheese quesadilla.
yeah, right. Yeah, there isn't a lot that's just like hot out there. You could do like nachos.
True. I mean, yeah, it could be a thing where I might just have to break vegetarianism for this if I'm like that desperate. So,
Dude. Well, I hope.
not that I've done it before. I mean, I'm in the
Yeah,
last basically 11 years of being a vegetarian, I've definitely eaten meat. So,
The nice thing is that a couple of the towns we stop in will have more than just gas stations too. So you could probably sit by like a,
yeah,
I don't know, Taco Bell or something.
Taco Bell would be sick.
Yeah.
Frisky Icarus.
Yep.
Said, what kind of ice cream will you be thinking about the whole ride?
Ooh.
Or while you're riding?
Okay. I fuck with ice cream hard, especially like during summer races. I think that the temperatures will allow me to keep my brain off of ice cream for the most part,
Yeah.
at least until I'm done. But I am definitely like the kind of person that'll eat an entire pint in one sitting of my favorite ice cream, especially after a race. And my go-to is Ben and Jerry's. I think it's like a Target exclusive. Is Peanut Butter World, and it is like a chocolate brownie with peanut butter and salt.
Damn, that sounds good.
And it
Never
is like
had that.
fucking 1,500 calories for an entire pint, and I will smash that shit. But that's my go-to, and that's what I will think about. What about you?
I'm not much of an ice cream guy. But if I
Any other cold treats?
not
Rocket
really.
Pops? You like Rocket Pops?
No. I think I do like ice cream over like popsicles. I think I'm just a cookies and cream kind of guy.
Yeah.
Or an Oreo Blizzard. Can't go wrong with that.
Minimal.
Yeah.
I like it.
Not really an ice cream sandwich guy.
Dude, you know what I just did recently?
What?
I made an orange soda.
Rip your a
Float.
float. Oh,
Tastes like a dreamsicle. I'm sure
a rip your float is good though. I'll give you that.
I'm sure it's been done, but it was so good. What a sweet treat. Also,
All right, we got just a few more, and we can get into the episode a little bit more. My friend Casey Hildebrandt, will you be consuming French toast sticks prior? And there's a funny story about this because that's what we ate before. That's what I ate before Wassa 12 hours this year. Just a
Like the
fucking
frozen?
plate. Yeah, put them in the microwave.
Dude, those are so good.
So good. And we might have to get them and make them
I would
before we
eat
ride.
that. Yeah, those are so good.
You make the whole thing, eat them all, and then you go
Just
ride.
microwave them.
Yep.
Just soggy ass. Ugh.
They're
Yeah.
so good. This is what he does for most of his pre-race meals.
French toast.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sugar, carbs. Oh yeah.
Cycling with Ken says, how many cows per mile you see?
How many cows?
How many cows per mile you see? Yeah. I don't know if
There?
there's much cows down there. I mean, there probably are, but
There's certain sections I'm sure we will, but the getting down there, that crossing is.
oh
bad.
yeah,
That ranch.
yep, that is cool. Is it cows though? Or is it buffalo?
Might be a mix of both.
Yeah, we'll probably see quite. Probably not that many, but I bet we see.
We'll see a handful.
Also, yeah, a handful.
Maybe we can take some photos and.
Yeah. Got Love Gravel said, if it rains. If it rains, I don't know if I'm going to do it.
If it rains, fuck.
Yeah, I think we're going to be good. I think it's the last day of rain before when we get down there is like Saturday.
Yeah, I'm more worried about it being too dry. I mean,
Yeah.
we're supposed to have like 3 days of rain since we talked to Bobby, but if it rains, I mean, I'm going to do what I do in every other race if it rains and put on my shit and power through it and wish that I'm just going to hate myself for a little while and then.
Man, that sounds horrible.
It does, but then you come out of it and you're just like, all right, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, if it rains, I would probably start, but I don't know if I'd be finishing. I'm too big of a weenie when it comes to cold, so and it's not gonna be
rain.
it's not gonna be that warm where the rain is gonna feel good.
No, yeah, rain and cold suck.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't rain, but I think we're gonna be good.
Yeah.
MSG SR 2001 says, "What's the plan to break the FKT?"
Well, you'll have to follow our track leaders to find that out.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is, and maybe we'll talk about it with Bobby more. And I'm super excited about talking with Bobby and his experience because he hasn't talked to anybody from a social media platform setting yet about his experience. So I'm excited to hear about that. But, everybody approaches these races a little bit differently, whether it's touring them or just like I'm just going to get it done kind of vibe and FKT vibes. It should go without saying, I guess, but the reason I sit in the saddle for so long and train as often as I do, whether it's an hour to work or 2 hours to work, or the longer you stay in the saddle and you're not, dicking around at a gas station for 45 minutes, you can just grab your shit and go and set your timers and do all that stuff that we talked about for North Star. The faster your race will be, because at the end of the day, someone can keep an average of 22.5 miles an hour for 300 miles. But if they're like dilly-dallying or they're having mental issues, somebody that's riding 15, 14 miles an hour could potentially beat them in an FKT attempt. Just from like staying in the saddle and keeping it quick and keeping their head in the game.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just gonna try to go for average speed and try to keep my brakes to a minimal, stopping, keep them under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I know for sure I'll have a few that'll probably be over 10 minutes, but it's just about making sure you keep them moving.
Keep her moving, bud. Yep.
We got a 2-parter from Scott Stoyne. Yep. How do you manage pace an effort like this? Do you ride with power numbers, feel, etc., or do you totally geek out on something like best bike splits to pace it?
I mean,
yeah, for me, I think I just gotta watch my speed. Power numbers don't really mean much when you're doing longer distance like this, I think.
Yeah, not as much. I mean, for me, I've never been I've never been a road racer. I've never been a mountain bike racer necessarily. Power doesn't mean shit to me unless I'm training and I'm just trying to build. So yeah, keeping an average speed, but there again, I try not to think about even that too much. Just ride as I'm comfortable. Obviously, I've been training to go ride faster for longer periods of time. But going back to that conversation we had about if something goes wrong and not letting it get you down, if my average speed is 17 or 18 miles an hour average, and that's including my downtime, I'll be happy with something like that. But there again, if I start out and the wind's fucked, I'm just going to be pissed and it's going to get me down and get me in a dark space really fast. So it's just you got to just manage it on the spot, especially for ultra racing, for longer distances, which my longest race is only 600 miles. So I'm not too much of a influence on that conversation because, you know, I haven't done like the Tour Divide yet or Transamerica yet.
Yeah, I mean that's a crazy different story to even this.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like starting to touch my toes in this because I really want to do like the Tour Divide one day. So, this is a good like entry level, I think, for me.
Yeah.
And then potentially doing the Doom in springtime.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I you know, for me, I think it's just more watching my average speed.
Yeah.
Making sure I'm on top of that and managing my nutrition or like making sure I'm on top of that because if it goes south, it goes south pretty quickly for me.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that's why it's important to like understand like the whole kilojoules conversation, like your work that you're putting in, because it takes, from what I understand at least, it takes kind of everything into consideration. That's your work number.
Yeah.
And if you can really figure out your nutrition from that work number, I actually, you know, I had mentioned this on a podcast that I listened to, that's what he goes off of a lot too, is work. So if you know you need to eat at like 1500,
yeah,
that's helpful too. You said it was a 2-parter?
Well, that was like, do you totally geek out on something like bike or best bike split to pace it?
Oh yeah, not for ultras. I don't, at least.
Mm-mm. And then we got a last one from Aaron Narnzen. Your approach to coping with the soul-sucking mud. If it were to rain.
There's not going to be mud.
No, there ain't going to be any mud.
That's
watch.
my
This is gonna be muddy now since we're jinxing it.
Yeah, you have to deal with it.
We owe Midsouth Gravel a Coke.
What's that? Yeah, right. You do. You just like, you have to deal with it. You have to, and that's the thing that like, I mean, if I could give any advice for just like preparation and riding, think of everything, be prepared for as much as possible to go wrong, and then put that pile of shit together, like put everything you think you're going to need and then pull back from that based on what the weather looks like. If the weather goes awry, can I still get away with not having that item?
Yeah.
And then pack lightly for it. Like, just be prepared for the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think there's going to be any mud, but if there was, it's just making sure you have all the equipment to keep yourself warm and dry, and the equipment of like possibly changing tires before the race or before the event or whatever you're doing. So, we had one that came to the Angry Guppy Podcast.
Thanks, Calvin.
And this is the last one, and then we'll get into the episode. We're already 40 minutes in. Holy smokes! What do you think about on these epic rides? Where does your mind go? I think a lot about the people in my life. I think about probably how much the wind sucks.
Yeah.
How much longer I have to go. And then my mind probably just like goes off into la la land sometimes. I feel like for Wausau 24, I don't really remember much from it because I think I just literally turned my brain off. I just focused on what was in front of me.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, that's kind of what I talked about, or we talked about a little bit earlier, but you can just shut everything off, and the road that's in front of you is what is on your brain.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a reason I keep going back to it is like I crave that. And then, you know, going fast and getting better at something is always nice. But yeah, keeping it for a while, like when I first started getting into it, I would, like I said, plan out like what I want to think about, like what I want to hash out, like whether it's like trauma stuff from my childhood or young adulthood or things that are currently going on in my life that I just like feel like haven't had enough of my mind attention. And I still do that from time to time, but yeah, a lot of it is just, you got a lot of time out there.
Yeah.
So it's just,
I think I want to come back to this question after we're done too.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next podcast we could talk about it, because then I'll have a better answer.
Yeah. The one item that I was just thinking about this, and this is no way, shape, or form like a tangible tool that I can like fix something with. But my Doom bell, shout out Ozark Gravel Doom and Andrew Honorma, has been with me since I started doing the Doom race on every single one of my ultra races. Yeah, I think maybe it's not a surprise, but a lot of people don't carry something like that with them.
Yeah, I mean, people wouldn't know that.
That is very similar to like the motorcycle history of gifting it to somebody before they have a long adventure to ward off evil spirits when that bell's ringing. And fun fact, my bell broke recently, and I don't have a bell on there, but I can still hear it ringing sometimes.
Oh, really?
I'm like so just used to hearing it. And the first one I got, I actually gifted to somebody else that had lost theirs, Brian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of puzzled on what I would bring, but I'll keep on thinking about it through the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's kind of end this episode with what we're doing for. Well, as you can see, we have the jerseys in the background. They're probably not in focus, but we are going to be riding these jerseys, and we're also going to put these up for sale after we are done with FKT, and a portion of the sales are going to go to the Get Here grant for Midsouth, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah. If you want to chat a little bit about that, I'll grab the jersey, maybe bring it just a little bit closer.
Yeah. So the Get Here grant is just to allow people that do need help to get to the race a chance to get there, for paying for funds. And oh yeah, look at that, looks nice. Yeah, we designed this with Donkey Label. Will at the shop did the metal work, and a couple other graphics on there, and then I designed the jersey with the bleached and the black. With Donkey Label, we also have bibs and a matching purple, or not a matching, but a purple vest, which is really, really nice. It looks cool with yeah, nice. But yeah, portion of our pre-order sales will go to the Get Here grant, which again is like a way for people that are in need of getting to the race and that can't get there. So
yeah, and I feel like it is marginalized communities are prioritized with that, which is fantastic. And that's why I was definitely just, when that came up, I was like, fuck yeah, let's do that. Because there's no, I thought Bonesaw was doing that, but I think that they were doing that for just Bonesaw to get to Midsouth, or friends and family of Bonesaw. So we were going to work with them, which would have been rad. Yeah.
And we were thinking about what we want to do for charity, or they were just like, oh dude, let's just do it for the Get Here grant.
Yeah.
And I think that's perfect.
Sense.
So yeah, if you need to find out more information on that, you can go to the link in the description of this video to find out more. And we're going to have those kits up probably later next week, maybe the following week after we do the FKT attempt. We're going to shoot those down on Monday there before we do the attempt. So we have assets for that. So yeah, just look out for the pre-order. And if you want to get one of these badass kits, you can get it.
Get it.
Should
we talk about what do we at for time here?
We're at 43 minutes.
43 minutes. We kind of talk about our bikes. We're both, if you can't tell, which we're using the same bike.
Yeah.
A little bit different setups, but
pretty much the same.
Yeah. NV Mogs. Is yours a 56 or 58?
56.
Mine is 58. I am using NV 4.5s, SES 4.5s.
I'm using SES 3.4s.
And surprisingly, I legitimately am surprised at this. The NV Hex tires are great. And I feel like a fucking sellout because it's just everything on that bike right now. Is fucking
it's NV everything.
That is by choice. Like, I love NV cockpits. I love NV frames and wheels. So
yeah. I also I've ridden the Hex once on gravel, but I've ridden them a lot on the road.
Yeah.
They're great, and I feel like they're fast. They feel good.
I do think I'm going to run those.
Yeah, you were a little worried about potential flats. I mean,
I still
these
might
are
switch to
these
some
are
Ray Nahers,
these
but
are pretty light tires. So if we do hit something wrong, it could be catastrophic. Which is again one of my biggest worries is making sure I have all the equipment I need. Like I don't know how many tubes I need to bring, but I remember like watching the highlights on Instagram of this one guy that was winning, and he got 3 flats and then had to basically call it because he had no more tubes.
yeah.
And like, I feel like if you get 3 flats, it's
What?
I don't know, man. It's over.
You gotta keep going, dude. I mean, I had
Oh, I guess
my
you did
tire
have it. Yeah.
blew off,
Yeah.
and you know, I just
Well, that's the
usually
thing is like,
I bring new sealant. I bring 2 plug kits, a lightweight too, like a what are they called? Like
latex tube.
No, the TPU tubes,
Hmm.
and then a patch kit for that, and then I bring a regular tube with a patch kit for that. Flats on flats on flats, but I can fix them, and a sewing kit to sew my sidewall.
Ah, yeah. Shit. I don't have a
No,
sewing kit.
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
You're good.
Yeah, we're both riding the Mogs. Looks like you got a top 2 bag. Are you gonna bring the seat bag?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a seat bag on mine too, but it's not on there right now.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a pretty big one, but
Yours is?
it's a Swift Industries.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
I just gonna bring it for extra clothes.
I'm also bringing. I might actually bring the. What is it called?
Spine lock?
No, the one in between the shrew. This one and. Gosh, I forget. It's like a 6 liter,
Okay.
a smaller one, but just in case I decide to do something different for hydration, but also just something to throw layers into and pull them out of. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, because we're gonna have to. Yeah, it's gonna be looking at like we're gonna probably spend about 12 hours or 11 hours in sunlight, and the rest is gonna be all in dark.
Yeah.
Which is putting us at basically half and half.
Yeah.
What's your like goal time?
I don't want to say. I don't want to
Okay.
jinx myself.
You don't have to.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to jinx myself.
Okay.
I know that my goal is to beat the record. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say now.
For sure. I'll say mine.
Go for it.
I want to do 18 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I want to be done at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't want to be out there any longer than that.
Yeah, dude.
Or no. It'd be midnight.
Yeah, midnight would be 18 hours.
Yep. Yeah. So I
Starting at
definitely want to.
6. Yep. Which is definitely attainable for sure.
Yeah. It's a lot more elevation gain than dam. And when I did dam
Yeah.
and I got 12 hours for 240, that was pretty fucking fast. That was well.
Dude, that's more elevate. Which 15,000 feet is a lot of elevation, but that's more elevation than the double dam.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you ever done Mid-South, it's not flat. I mean, there are parts where it is, but it's very just up and down.
rollers.
So it's like you cannot get into a good rhythm.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be beautiful. And I think I mentioned in our last episode, but I'm so thankful just to be have something a little bit further out than my normal season to be training for, and to be able to go ride in November is
yeah, definitely.
fucking super rad. With that much less time that we're spending on the trainer.
Yeah. Well, we've had a nice fall for it.
Yeah.
We just finally had shit weather this week, so last week was pretty good too. Still, it was kind of cold, but I remember Friday morning you got to work and you were like, "Oh, dude, I shouldn't have rode."
Yeah, I had not
No feeling in your toes.
Yeah, or that feeling when you freeze your toes and then they're starting to thaw out. It's just so painful.
Just
your
dancing around,
heart's racing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be launching this on Thursday. We'll still be
2 days.
2 days from now. So there'll still be plenty of time to chat about stuff if you ever want to reach out to us and talk to us about it.
Yeah, stop by the shop too.
Yeah, we're Gonna be doing the Mega Midsouth FKT next Tuesday, the 12th.
12th. Yep.
And we are starting at 6 a.m. You can find our track leaders. I'll put a link in our bio on the Angry Guppy Podcast Instagram, and I also have it on the Angry Catfish one as well.
I'll probably have it on my personal too.
I will also have it on my personal one. Yeah.
4 spots you can see it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Nick with a bike on Instagram. I'm Bosch Jower on Instagram. We're gonna leave it at that. We wanted to kind of keep it short instead of running it along an hour. So I know we didn't talk about everything we wanted to, but I feel like we got it.
Yeah.
Those questions were great, so we kind of got carried away with those.
Yeah, we are going to be doing not a live podcast, but we're going to be recording our next episode at District with Bobby.
Yeah, and hopefully he can talk about his Mega Midsouth experience.
So stoked to hear him talk about it. But if you have any questions or want to know more about how we prepared or anything like that, feel free to hit us and we'll try to address them at District.
Yeah, and hopefully the audio is better this time. I'm sorry about last time. For some reason it got screwed up. So
thank you so much to people that have said something. Like, it's, again, we're not doing this to like make money. It's just something both of us enjoy doing, and the shop has allowed us to like kind of use the Instagram account for a platform. But yeah, by all means, we're not claiming to be fantastic at this.
I am no audio engineer, and I'm pretty tech savvy, but I definitely am not familiar with audio stuff. So
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for all the
Wes.
Yeah, thank
Lunch
you,
break
Wes.
Brazing.
Yep. Thanks for coming in and showing us how to use the audio compressor or audio compressor. So but yeah, I made sure before we streamed this that we recorded this that it was all set up. So thanks again.
Thanks, dude.
Till next time. Bye.